Lighthouses are a significant part of our heritage, and for those of you who don't know, in around 2010, because of the aids to navigation that have been developed, the federal government decided to get out of the business of operating lighthouses. And having done that, they recognized that there are many lighthouses in Ontario that are significant heritage properties. And they also enabled organizations to form not-for-profits to take over responsibility for those lighthouses. And fortunately, in Thunder Bay, we have the Canadian Lighthouses of Lake Superior, who have taken the initiative to go to these lighthouses and to restore a lot of the damage that was done between the time that the last keeper left, I believe on Porphyry it was 1989, and in the interim much damage was done and much graffiti and windows broken. But this great group has come together to do all that they can to bring these sites back so that we can enjoy them. So good for them. So I don't know how many people have read this book, The Lightkeeper's Daughter, but probably many. So I read this book and I became much more intrigued with the idea of going to Porphyry. And we applied to the Hostkeeper program. And the only cost to us to do this program was $150 each to cover our transportation there and back. And you'll see from the slideshow, the transportation is a very interesting component of the experience. So we got the information of what to bring, and Sail Superior, who operates the charter to get to the island, gave us a lot of advice about what to pack: sleeping bags, warm clothes, which this year we didn't need. Some years you need long underwear and parkas, but this year it was very, very temperate and we didn't need any warm clothes. Dry bags, maybe a Rubbermaid container to keep your things dry. And I guess we can start now. And so on a Monday morning, we went down to the pier at the harbor, and we got into these survival suits, thank you, and we put on some goggles because your sunglasses will just get blown right off if you try to wear them. And we boarded a 12-passenger Zodiac, and it goes very, very fast. I think they're very, very stable. They were used by the Army, I believe, at one time. And we took approximately 50-kilometer ride around the Cape and to Porphyry, which is across kind of from Silver Islet. I have a map in my presentation. That is Skull Rock, so that is the actual Silver Islet. And our host, Greg Haru, is really good at pointing out significant sites that you see. You can see where Porphyry is. It is, where is it? It's right here, yes, right there. And it's at the tip of an island. The Ojibwe name for Porphyry is Kagawagamish, and there are maps at Porphyry that will show you the original names of all the places around Thunder Bay. It's the last in a chain of islands that stretch southwest from the Black Bay Peninsula, and it's named for the island's igneous rock known as porphyry, and it contains quartz and feldspar crystals. Porphyry is covered in a pitted rock, and it has black sand beaches that are features of the volcanic basis of the island. It's very, very stunning, if that's just, you know, an understatement. Another feature of the island is the presence of Devil's Club. It's a shrub with a spiny stem and large leaves, and on Porphyry and 3 nearby islands are the only known occurrence of this plant east of the Rockies. It's not to be cuddled up to. A little pierce with one of the thorns is quite deadly. And they have beautiful signage, interpretive signage at Porphyry, and somehow I got the idea that this was the only patch of Devil's Club. But we went hiking and I'm going, oh my goodness, there's more. So you kind of have to, like, it's not like poison ivy, but you have to kind of keep your eye out for Devil's Club and not rub up against it. The light was established in 1873. It is the setting for this beautiful book, Lightkeeper's Daughter. The last keeper there was Gordon Graham, and he left, and his family left in 1989. Eve is here. And they have a small art gallery in the old Foghorn building with a gallery named for him. The most interesting keeper, no offense, Eve, was Andrew Dick. And you'll arrive there and you go up McKay Drive. Mr. McKay, Senator McKay actually, was a lightkeeper there. And here are some cars that he brought over to run that kind of McKay Drive. And that is Ben. And he was there as a host keeper, and we actually took over from them. And he loves old cars, so. We walked there, but after walking that road a few times, you soon use some of the bicycles that were donated to the site, and that ripped seat is why I sent a bicycle seat after we were done there. Next slide. So, and there's some information about Gordon Graham, but that's what the original lighthouse looked like. That's one iteration. This is the current one. It's a 1960, and it's a light tower, and it's much more functional, but less, I think, aesthetic. But nevertheless, there are other buildings on the site that are of interest. Now, this is us climbing the tower. As soon as we arrived, that's the first thing we did. We went up the tower to the top of the lighthouse. That's Heather McLeod and her son Sam, and they were, as I said, they were there the week prior to us. And this is what the light looks like now. I think they're LED lights. They were much more high maintenance in the old days. And I think, how many years did these last, Paul? Those lights, they last quite a long time.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Oh, sorry. But I overheard conversations, and they last quite a long time. That is the Foghorn house, where there would have been a big steam plant to operate this. Is it diaphone foghorn? And as significant as the light was the foghorn, and the keeper spent a lot of time responding to weather and getting enough steam to operate that foghorn. And I think anyone who grew up in Thunder Bay remembers hearing the foghorn. You don't hear them anymore because we don't need them. The actual foghorn is still there. This is the keeper's house. I'm not sure of the year of it, but it's
1950.
1950.
Government issue house.
Very attractive. Lots of fir trim. This is a house that is available for rental. So you could come with a group of people and very comfortably stay in this house and do your hikes or excursions or stargazing or bird watching. It's got a lot of character, and I think it's quite comfortable. I don't know, I didn't stay in it, but I just took some interior shots. It sleeps quite a few people.
Five in the bedrooms and one on the couch, 6.
Right. And there's your view from the stair, halfway up the stairs, the landing. And this is a chronology of lighthouse business and people. This fellow, he lived on the island year-round. Most keepers went at the close of shipping season. However, he stayed year-round. He had 10 children, and he kept diaries that he very clearly marked for the federal government. These are not the property of the federal government. These are my personal diaries. And as a result, we have a wealth of information about what it was like to live on Porphyry. And it is a real gift because he talks about what boats passed every day and what life was like day to day there. There's a little burial area that is related to that family, and it's close to, just above a beach that one of the students I think they named it Despondent Beach as a result of that little burial being there. It's unofficial, but it seemed to fit. There's a boat that maybe Bob McKay used in some of his fishery work. So this is where you will stay if you're a host keeper. And it's a very comfortable home, and in the heyday, when there was a generator going all the time and actual power line to the house, it had all the modern conveniences, telephone, television, everything. Not so much now. So as a housekeeper, you're provided with room and board and a unique experience. And in return, you provide several hours a day of work. You'll share this bunkhouse with the summer students and with the artists in residence. And we were really delighted. We met just wonderful people. We hit it off with the artist in residence, Kaya, who had so much in common with us, and we were all obsessed with coffee, so that was a big bond amongst us. And what we did every day was we get up. You will get up probably with the sun and go to bed with the sun set. We helped with some minor carpentry projects. We assisted Donnie with meal prep, cleanup. I staked, there's Donnie making the food. We have 3 meals a day, and they're prepared. Table is set. We eat together. We clean up, and then we do it all over again. So it's very much a communal experience. There are the steps that had some rotten boards, and Jim took the steps off, and he's very happy with the result. It's a very rejuvenating experience. You'll have your own bedroom. There's very limited electricity. There are generators, but they're used very sparingly. So you will have running water, but very limitedly. And you're going to be free from all your electronics because except for a short session each evening when we would go to the light tower where there is a modem and there is Wi-Fi, we didn't bother with our phones. And there is a little area where you can charge your phone because everybody is attached to their phone. So you won't have to do it completely without your phone, but you're going to look at it a lot less during the day. As I said, you're going to eat 3 meals communally. Oh, this is the garden. And in the diaries of Andrew Dick, he talked about the things that they had. This is a chicken coop. They had chickens, they had bees, and they had a vegetable garden. So part of CLLS is to bring back those components of life on Porphyry. The Artist Residence Program, this is Kaya and the summer student. And the summer student's telling her what she's looking at. You put your sketches. This is Kaya sketching at the black sand beach. And she loved that. And this is an example of some of her work. And I believe she's produced some amazing large. So this is something we would do when we were done. We went hiking along the shore. It's quite a rugged shore. And this is an example of, there were several different spots for the dock, and this is one of the docks that you can find kind of the ruins of the old winch and things like that. It's, if you like old things and old ruins, you're going to love Porphyry. I think that's Edward Island. So the other things you will do there is you'll use your ingenuity. You'll pick berries. There's lots of gooseberries on Porphyry, and you might want to invent a pudding or something for dessert that you can share with others. You'll meet many visitors, from scheduled tour groups to kayakers who paddle up the shore to boaters who come from near and far. The students there will lead the tour, but you're there to be part of it. This is a day I was gathering beach glass, and Jim was snoozing, and along comes Estella, like out of nowhere, and he's from North Bay. And I don't know where he was heading to. There's a really nice camping area and place for the kayakers to dock their boats. So I believe they had over 600 visitors this summer to Porphyry. So you're never totally alone or lonely. Oh, and there's Paul saying goodbye already. Yeah, so it's, I think they've been restoring the site since about 2013. And as I said, there were 600 visitors this summer. And some of my memories from Porphyry this summer, climbing the tower when we first arrived. And as I said earlier, it doesn't get really, really dark until quite late. But there is a helipad, and if you stand on the helipad, the stars are just breathtaking. So I had to get up one day at about 4 a.m. to sneak out in the very, very dark, very, very dark. There's no light whatsoever, to look at those stars. And there were shooting stars and satellites, and it was so wonderful. Hiking to the black sand beach. It's a very hot, very, very swimmable in that area. Gathering stones and sea glass, and then having that kayaker paddle up out of nowhere. It's steeped in history there. It's a place that is full of mystery, and you will feel it there. And I think you'll come back, you'll feel very rejuvenated, and you will really have a sense of something really, really special. So if you're interested in being a host keeper, I strongly recommend it. I think you'd enjoy it very much. Thank you.